From an apex primate that used to crush skulls with its bare hands, to a species that gets paralyzing anxiety from making a phone call, to an animal whose face has literally been flattening for thousands of years. Meet the modern human. You might look in the mirror and see a wild, untamed beast, but science says something entirely different. Over the last 100,000 years, our species underwent a biological process that turned us into the golden retrievers of the primate world. It is called the self-domestication hypothesis. We accidentally bred ourselves into dogs, and the way we did it involves a 100,000-year assassination campaign against the biggest bullies on Earth. But to understand how you became a golden retriever, we have to talk about foxes. Back in the 20th century, Russian scientists Dmitry Belyaev and Lyudmila Trut ran a massive experiment. They took wild silver foxes and started breeding them with a single rule. Only the friendliest, most docile foxes were allowed to mate. They just wanted foxes that wouldn't bite the hand that fed them. Within just 10 generations, selecting only for tameness caused a massive physical cascade. The foxes started getting floppy ears, curly tails, and piebald coats. They even started breeding year-round, a trait no one was intentionally looking for. It turns out, being a good boy literally changes your physical appearance. So how does being nice melt your cartilage? Well, scientists call it the domestication syndrome. It all comes down to a tiny deficit in what are called neural crest cells. These are the embryonic cells that build both your adrenal glands, which control your fear and adrenaline, and the cartilage in your face and ears. If you breed an animal to have smaller, less active adrenal glands so they chill out, you accidentally shortchange the cells that build their snout and their ears. The physical price of being friendly is that your face gets squished. Speaking of squished faces, let's look at your skull. Over the last 100,000 years, human skulls have gone through a massive trend of what anthropologists call craniofacial feminization. Our heavy brow ridges shrank, our faces became shorter and flatter, and our overall skeletons got softer. Modern humans accumulated mutations in specific gene networks like the BADS1B gene, which gave us the exact same domesticated facial look seen in tame foxes and dogs. We are basically neotenous apes. Translation, we are giant hairless monkeys that retain the flat faces, large heads, and playful attitudes of babies all the way into our adult lives. So, if humans have the exact same domestication syndrome as dogs and foxes, who was doing the breeding? Well, we did it to ourselves. Picture the Paleolithic era. You have aggressive alpha males, essentially giant prehistoric bullies, who take all the food and hit people with clubs. But our ancestors figured out a workaround. The weaker, friendlier beta males formed cooperative gangs to systematically execute or ostracize the highly aggressive alphas. We achieved world peace, relative to chimpanzees at least, through a 100,000-year assassination campaign. And we are not the only primates to pull this off. Look at the bonobo, an animal that scientists consider a parallel self-domesticated ape because they have much more tolerant behavior and neotenous features compared to their more violent chimpanzee cousins. By killing off or shunning the meanest guys, early humans naturally selected for reduced reactive aggression, giving ourselves smaller adrenal glands and flatter faces in the process. We made ourselves soft by being absolutely ruthless. But the absolute wildest part of this whole story is that we didn't just turn ourselves into the equivalent of dogs. We literally became their biological twins. When humans invented agriculture, we suddenly had to survive on massive amounts of grain and starch. So, we developed a massive expansion of something called the AMY1 gene, which produces the enzyme amylase to digest those starches. And dogs underwent the exact same genetic mutation at the exact same time. We both evolved the exact same superpower to digest pizza crusts and agricultural garbage. And it goes even deeper than our diets. We completely hacked each other's brain chemistry. Science shows that humans and dogs share an oxytocin-mediated bonding loop during mutual gazing. When you stare into your dog's eyes, both of your brains flood with the exact same love hormone that human mothers use to bond with their infants. That chemical loop is entirely absent or significantly weaker in wild wolves. We have been locked in this intense biological partnership for a very long time, with archaeological evidence from places like Swan Point, Alaska, proving that close human-canine relationships existed in the Americas at least 12,000 years ago. And this evolutionary weirdness isn't even finished. While we are busy turning into dogs, dogs are quickly leveling up at being human. Right now, urban stray dogs in some cities are learning to use crosswalks, ride public transport, and even outperform primates on human social cue tasks. So the next time your dog stares into your soul while begging for a French fry, show some respect. That is your biological mirror image. We domesticated each other in a feedback loop of friendliness. But if you think teaming up to assassinate ancient bullies is wild, you should hear what happens when a domesticated species escapes back into the wild, because the results are truly terrifying.